Hey everybody, it's Melbourne Games Coach, aka Kerry Stead here, doing another little preview video for the upcoming 2013 Australian Open Chess Championships to be held at North's Leagues Club in Cammeray. This time we're going to have a look at some of the top players in the event for this year. As you can see here, we've got a list of top seeds from the tournament. Obviously we've got a few Grandmasters in the tournament with Igor Kenkin from Germany, along with locals Zhongwan Zhao and Daryl Johansson, as well as a number of IMs and FMs, as well as obviously a WGM there in Aryan Sekanda from Indonesia. So let's have a look at some of these players in a little bit more detail, starting from top of the seedings. So let's start with Igor Kenkin. He's obviously a Grandmaster from Germany, FIDE rating 26.59, which puts him quite significantly at the top of the field in the position of first seed. He's currently in the world's top 100, third highest rated German. He's a well-known chess trainer and teacher, having worked previously in the Soviet Union with the likes of Mark Dvoretsky and the like. I believe he's also authored a few books, plays a lot of league matches in Europe, and he's been a GM since 1992, very experienced player, and obviously one of the favourites to take out the tournament. Next up we have Zhongwan Zhao, obviously also a Grandmaster. He's from Australia, lives in New South Wales, currently living in Sydney, although he did grow up in Coffs Harbour. His current FIDE rating 25.41, ACF rating 25.37. He's currently Australia's highest rated player, and has been for the last couple of years since Ian Rogers has retired. He won the Australian Open in 2007 and shared first last time the event was held in 2011, and was also the Australian champion in 2010. He's been to a number of Olympiads in the past, although he didn't actually play in the most recent Olympiad, and has performed obviously very well in that. And when he actually achieved his Grandmaster title in the end of 2007 and 2008, he actually did it in one of the quickest periods of time. He actually achieved 3 norms in under 2 months, and was awarded the title in 2008 when he completed those requirements to become Grandmaster. And obviously he hasn't actually been playing that much of late. He's had obviously he's recently been married in the last year or two, so obviously that's taking up some time. He's also busy with studies and that sort of thing, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes in a top level tournament such as this. He actually recently played in Melbourne at the Christmas Swiss, finished in a tie for first with a few other people, had a couple of draws but didn't lose a game, and he has the kind of style that is very, very solid, and he's someone who's very, very, very difficult to beat. However, he does occasionally concede draws to lower rated players, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes, having not played so much in the last year or so, and obviously as one of the favourites for this event. Next up we have Max Illingworth. Obviously he's now an international master, with his last performance being the most recent Olympiad that got him the title. He's also obviously an Australian from New South Wales. FIDE rating at the moment 24.13. His ACF rating is 25.17. He's currently Australia's 6th highest rated player on the FIDE list. He won the Stein medal in 2011. Obviously won the IM title. Gained the IM title at the Olympiad in 2012, which was his first Olympiad, and he performed very, very well. He's also had recently a couple of articles published in New in Chess, and he's becoming something of an opening theoretician and a bit of an author as well. So his future's looking bright. He's been playing some really good chess of late. As I said, he had a very, very good Olympiad, and yeah, he's someone to definitely watch out, and a very good chance in this tournament if he can keep things all together. One thing that has happened sometimes in the past with Max, when he tends to have bad tournaments, it tends to be a bit of a shocker, such as what happened with the Australian Championships at the start of end of 2011, start of 2012 at Geelong. He really got off to a poor start and finished midfield when he was definitely expected to be one of the higher place getters. But if you can put it all together, he's obviously a very tough opponent. Plays very good technically, and can also obviously knows his openings very well, and can play some sharp stuff as well. So he's another one who's in with a very good chance of taking out the tournament. Next up is a very interesting player, Trevor Teo, one of the few players at the event who I haven't actually met in person. He's an international master from South Australia. FIDE rating 2440, ACF rating of 2505. He's fourth highest rated on the FIDE rating list from Australia. He won the Steiner medal in 2003 and was the Australian junior champion in 1992, and really burst onto the scene in the early 90s as a junior. Sort of came from almost from nowhere, and again won the Australian junior, performed fantastically at the Australian Championships not long after that. Took a bit of a break in the sort of late 90s, came back again at the start of the 2000s, and again played obviously some excellent chess to win the Steiner medal, and has actually taken the last few years off chess again and only recently came back. As far as I can tell, his FIDE, in terms of FIDE rated chess at least, he hadn't actually played a FIDE rated game since 2006. The last time he actually played was in Queenstown, which is where you can see this photo from, which again where he got his final IM norm and subsequently got his IM title awarded as a result of that. But he had for many years. He's also represented Australia at Chess Olympiad in the past, something that was a bit unheralded, as you have this young guy who was sort of, high 2300s, low 2400s, no title, and was obviously performing very, very well. It comes from a very, very gifted family with a number of brothers who are fairly famous. His brother Terence Teo is actually a Fields medalist, which is kind of the mathematical equivalent of a Nobel Prize. So, very gifted family, very gifted player, and someone who, again, it'll be interesting to see how he performs, having not played that much of recently, at least not sort of the high-level chess that you need to do well in an Australian Open. So, apart from Queenstown, having said that, obviously his performance in Queenstown to score an IM norm, he was drawing with GMs and the like, so he obviously hasn't sort of found the layoff from top-level chess that much of a hindrance. And again, he'd be another one who's very much in contention for the top prizes in this event. Next up is one of the living legends of Australian chess, really, Daryl Johansen. Obviously a Grandmaster, was the second ever Australian to become a Grandmaster he's from Victoria. Current FIDE rating 2441, ACF rating of 2493. There's not a lot that really needs to be said about Daryl. He's a 6-time Australian champion. He won the championships in Geelong in 2012, when people had sort of written him off as someone who was sort of over the hill and past it. He still has the start of the year that he had. He won the Australian Championships. He's had some fantastic results early on in 2012. He's been a 3-time Australian Open champion, 6-time Steiner medalist for the Player of the Year, Grandmaster since 1995. If there is an event worth winning that Daryl's played in, he's probably won it at least once, if not multiple times. And as we saw with the Australian Championships at the start of 2012, he's still a very dangerous player. It's still very much in line to win these type of events. Yeah, like I said, there's not a lot that more than you say about Daryl, but he really is a living legend in Australian chess, and someone who, when he puts things together, is his bold constrictor style is really a sight to behold. And again, someone who's definitely in with a contention, in with a very good chance to win this tournament if he can put things together. Next up is Moulton Lai, a young player, international master from Queensland. Someone who I met years ago up in Queensland. I remember playing him when he was about 11 or 12 in a tournament, and he was only rated sort of 12 or 1300, and I have a feeling he might have even beaten me in that game, and I was kind of like a bit disappointed that I'd lost to this sort of young kid who was only sort of 1200 at the time. But obviously Moulton's really gone on in leaps and bounds in the last few years. He's one that's really come up through the internet and the computer generation that sort of seems to be around at the moment. He's someone who's a specialist at sort of 1 minute chess and that sort of thing, and he's one of the highest rated bullet players, 1 minute chess players in the world on ICC. Current FIDE rating 2417, ACF rating 2450. He's one of the defending Australian Open champions from the last event in 2011. He was the Australian Junior Champion in 2005. Recently represented Australia at the Chess Olympiad in Turkey in 2012, and was actually the best performed Australian playing board 2, which for someone playing his first Olympiad, was really a fantastic performance. He's been in IM since 2011, and again, with the rate that he's improving, he's someone, even though he's obviously not a GM and not quite in the top sort of 2 or 3 seeds, he's definitely someone who's improving rapidly. Has some very good opening preparation, knows his lines well, and always someone who's very dangerous, very sharp tactically. Someone definitely with a chance to win the event. Next up, another perennial favourite on the Australian chess scene, Stephen Solomon. Obviously, again, an international master from Queensland. FIDE rating at the moment is 2410. His ACF rating is 2435. He was a 2008 Australian champion, Australian Junior Champion in 1980, Steiner medalist in 1997. He's been playing in Olympiads for a number of years, and he seems to almost have a one hand permanently on the Australasian Master title, having won it, I believe, 7 if not 9 out of the 24 times it's been run. So yeah, again, similar in many ways to the Daryl Johansson thing, that if there's a tournament worth playing, Stephen's probably played it and won it at least once, if not more than once. He's been at IM since 1990. He's a regular on the weekend circuit. He's won the Australian Grand Prix on multiple occasions. Stylistically, he's very different to Daryl. He's very much a what would you say? More of a sort of technical in some senses in terms of the ending. He's known for his legendary endgame abilities and fighting spirit, and he's the type of guy who can work wonders, particularly in the endgame. But he plays some quite interesting chess at times, and again, when he puts it all together, he's someone who's very, very dangerous and can definitely take down the tournament if things go his way. Next, George Z, another international master. He's one from New South Wales, based in Sydney. FIDE rating at the moment is 2382. His ACF rating is 2434. He was the Australian Open champion in 2009 and 2011. He's been a 3-time Steiner medalist. George is actually an interesting case. He has actually achieved 3 Grandmaster norms and was only a few points in terms of his FIDE rating. To become a Grandmaster, you need to get your rating over 2500. And at one point in time, George was actually only a few points shy of that 2500 mark. I believe he got within sort of 10 or 20 points of that. And not quite sure what's happened with him in the last sort of year or two, but he seems to have dropped off and not quite been up to the level that he was a few years ago. And obviously, as you can see by his FIDE rating down at 2382, it has dropped quite a bit from that sort of high 2400s that he was a year or two ago. Having said that, again, if he can put things together, obviously he's won the event the last 2 times it's been held. He's been at IM since 2007. Has a lot of potential, plays some very, very sharp openings and is very sharp tactically. However, of late, it seems like the style has sort of been a bit crash and burn, hit and miss sort of thing, and sometimes he can play some fantastic games, but he can also play some shockers as well. So it'll be interesting to see how George goes in an event like this. Obviously, being the champion in 2009, 2011, he obviously likes the Australian Open, so we'll see if he can pick up some of that form from a few years ago and see how he goes in this event. Probably, given his recent form, probably not one that you'd say would take out the title, but he'll definitely be someone who'll be up there in contention for the placings, if not the title, if he can put things together. Next, young Bobby Cheng, female master from Victoria. FIDA rating 23.72, ACF rating 24.12. Obviously, his highlight is he's actually the only Australian to ever win a world championship, having won or a cross-board world championship at least, having won the World Under 12 championships in 2009. He's also the Australian Junior Champion of 2010 and 2011, Victorian Champion 2011. He's also won the Alaska's, or however you pronounce it, medal for the Junior Australian Player of the Year in 2009 and 2010, and they basically had to change the rules of the award, and they basically said you can only win it twice, otherwise he probably would have won it in 2011 as well. But yeah, Bobby, very, very interesting character, very quiet, very unassuming, obviously very talented. Stylistically, he plays some sort of fairly solid and nondescript openings, but he does have a keen tactical sense. He can play pretty well positionally as well, and his technique is very good as well. It's just a question of putting it all together for him. He actually finished equal first in the recently completed Australasian Masters. However, he did sort of have a few poor results in that, and it seems like he's the type of guy who can play well, but sometimes struggles to put it all together consistently throughout a tournament. So this tournament will definitely be a challenge, and I think he'll definitely be up there on the top few boards for a majority of the tournament. But whether he's actually quite at the level where he can be in contention to win the event, we'll have to wait and see. But someone who definitely has plenty of potential, and it'll be interesting to see how he progresses over, obviously throughout the tournament and in the next year or so. Next up, we have Greg Cantful, FIDA master from New South Wales. His current FIDA rating is 23.60, his ACF rating is 24.05. He's a former Olympiad representative, having played in the 1990 Olympiad and the tournament that until recently he was basically the master of his New South Wales Championship, having won it 7 times. If again, he's the sort of the New South Wales equivalent of someone like a Solomon. If it's worth playing, if it's worth winning, Greg's probably won it, if not once, multiple times, much like he has with the state championship. He's also recently got a bit more involved in the administrative side of chess, and he's actually the FIDA ratings officer for Australia. Doesn't play as much chess as he used to, so again, it'll be interesting to see how he goes in an event like this. You definitely expect him to be up there on the top few boards. However, whether he can actually put it all together and be in contention for the top prize is something that we'll have to see. He has the thing that he seems to have struggled with in recent years is in terms of dealing with sort of databases and opening preparation. He has a fairly fixed opening repertoire, and can at times get caught in some opening preparation that has in the past led to a few disastrous losses for him. But having said that, some of the openings that he does play is very knowledgeable in, and even if he does walk into some preparation, he's definitely a fighter and can definitely give you a hard time regardless of who his opponent is. So someone who will definitely be up there on the top few boards. Whether he'll quite be up there to finish in the top few places, we'll have to wait and see. But another one who will be definitely one to watch during the event. Next up, Junta Akita, another FIDA master from Australia, based in the ACT in Canberra. Current FIDA rating is 25.04 and his ACF rating is 23.76. He was the Australian Junior Champion in 2008 and has won the ACT Championship on multiple occasions. He's recently come back from a bit of a chess tour of India where he played a couple of tournaments, including I believe it was the Commonwealth Championship, and he performed very well in those and picked up some sort of 30 or 40 odd FIDE rating points with a number of good results against IMs and IMs and the like. And he was playing tournaments where he literally was playing sort of IMs and FMs back to back, sort of, from day to day, no rest. And obviously he performed very well in those tournaments in India. He's very good friends with Modern Lie in particular, and they share a number of sort of opening ideas and opening repertoires and that sort of thing, and have in some senses a similar style. Thing with Junta that he is really known for is he's one of these increment surfers. You'll often find him using up most of his allocated time sometime in the first sort of 20-25 moves, and then he'll spend the next sort of 10, 15, 20 or however many moves he's got, either till the time control or till the end of the game, just riding that sort of 30-second increment with his clock sort of going between 40 seconds and 5 seconds, and he'll make a move with a few seconds to spare that'll push him up to 32 or 33 seconds, and he'll use that whole time again for the next move and that type of thing. However, in those situations, a large majority of the time he seems to find the best move. So even though it looks like he's actually struggling with the clock, he seems to have become something of a master of the clock in terms of managing his time like that. He's obviously also been an FM since 2010, and on the back of those results in India, definitely someone who is going to be a danger in this tournament. Again, similar to some of the other players that we looked at, definitely going to be in contention in terms of playing on the top few boards. Whether he's quite at the level where he's going to be playing for the top places, we'll have to wait and see. But definitely someone who's going to be a danger throughout the tournament to those top seeds. Won't give them an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. And if he can put things together and things go his way, is somebody who could find himself finishing up in the top few places. Next, Tristan Boyd, FIDE master from Western Australia. FIDE rating 2306 and his ACF ratings 2371. He's a three-time West Australian champion. Thing about Tristan is he hasn't actually been playing that much in the last year or two. I actually saw him at the venue earlier today, and he was saying that you'll have to see how he goes. He hasn't played much in the last year and only played a few tournaments in 2011. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes, particularly in this type of field where it's most definitely a tough tournament at the top end. However, he really is the best player that's come out of WA, at least in the last 10 years, if not more, and really has a lot of potential. And it'll be interesting to see how he goes playing in one of these big Australian Open tournaments. He's been an FM since 2009, and like I said, he was a three-time WA champion. Very much one of the best players to come out of Perth. We'll see how he goes in this event. And again, like some of the other players, someone who's very, very dangerous, can definitely cause a few headaches. Not sure if he'll quite be in the running for the top prizes, but definitely someone to keep an eye out for during the event. Next up, Andrew Brown. He's an international master from Canberra in the ACT. FIDE ratings 2289, ACF ratings 2354. The big tournament for Andrew was the 2011 Oceania Zona, where he actually achieved his IM title and finished second in the tournament. That's really been his best tournament to date. He also shared the ACT Championship with Junta Akita in 2012. He's been playing fairly actively on the circuit in the last year or two, and has definitely obviously continued his improvement, and is really someone that's shown an ability to cause headaches for the very top players in Australia, and has at times knocked some of these top players off. And again, it's someone who's also going to be a bit of a danger for the top players in this event. He's been at IM since 2011, and again, he's again one of these young sort of young players, not long out of school, late teens, early 20s, that type of group, and they all seem to be progressing at a rate of knots. And we'll see how, again, Andrew goes against someone who's going to be dangerous in this field, and we'll see how he goes in terms of heading to the top few boards during the tournament. Next up, Irene Sekenda, woman grandmaster from Indonesia, FIDE rating 23.59, ACF rating of 23.13. She's been a reasonably regular visitor for some of the major events in the last few years, having played a few Dobel Cups out here. She's Indonesia's highest rated female player, and in 2012 won the Asian Women's Championship. I don't think she's really played her best when she has come out to Australia, so we'll see obviously how she'll be affected by travel and that type of thing, and adjusting in some ways, I guess, to the Australian style of chess. That's someone that, obviously, being the Asian Women's Champion, definitely has plenty of potential, and could be a dangerous opponent for anyone on a day. She's definitely developed a good friendship with that sort of younger generation that coming through, the Molten Light, Junta Akita type group, and we'll see if that kind of, how she works with those guys, and see if that helps her in terms of her results for this event. She's been a WGM since 2009, and again, someone who is going to provide some headaches for the top seeds in this event. And finally, in terms of our look at the top 15 seeds, we've got Chris Wallace, who's a FIDE master from Victoria. Current FIDE rating is 22.83 with an ACF rating of 23.09. He won was equal first in the 2010 Victorian Championships. He's been a FIDE master since 2011. He's won a number of weekend events throughout Victoria, and has sort of shown glimpses of being able to compete with the upper echelon of Australian chess players, but hasn't quite cracked it through much beyond that 2300 barrier. So he's definitely someone who's improving, works a lot in his chess. He's a very hard worker, both at and away from the board. Someone who really works at their chess, and obviously deserves a reward for that effort. And he's definitely been showing improvement over the last few years, and we'll see if he can use this tournament as a bit of a springboard to that next level, breaking through that sort of 2300 plus barrier, and being in the very upper echelon of Australian chess. Again, someone who's going to be a danger to the top seeds. Again, someone who's probably not going to quite be up there in terms of competing for the top few places, but someone who's definitely going to be a dangerous opponent for anybody on their day. And again, just a reminder of the websites to look for. Tournament website, the Google site there. The best place to go to is through the North Chess Club website, northsydneychess.org. You can follow the links through to the website. I've also, at the venue today, we've set up the live boards. We're going to have 4 live boards throughout the tournament in terms of internet coverage, and hopefully I'll be able to also put up a few extra videos throughout the event, which you'll be able to find on my blog, melbournegamescoach.blogspot.com. So hopefully you've enjoyed the video, learned a little bit about some of the top seeds and the favourites for the event, and happy New Year. I hope to see you at North Sydney or following the event online, and hope you enjoy the tournament that starts tomorrow. Thanks again for watching.